Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L here to talk about One Piece chapter, forgetting the chapter number, 1084. Hey everyone. Hey, we're doing a One Piece video again. It's been a while since I've talked about One Piece, but I'm very excited to be here. Egghead. I find it to be really good. I kind of stopped talking about One Piece after Wano just because Wano it didn't feel very fun, but I think we're in a really good period now, so I'm very excited to be back and talking about One Piece here. So let's just get right into it. I think the chapter comes in with a lot of really interesting questions, and we're finding out a lot of different things. What I'm going to do for this review is pretty much talk about the big topics that people on the internet are talking about, because those are pretty much where the discussion are. So first off, in general, just because it's been a while, when it comes to Egghead, I actually really enjoy it. I know that some people are saying that they want to get back to Luffy to just, move things along, but I'm actually really happy that we're finally finding out about the rest of the world. And, usually we find out about the world in between arcs, and it's usually a very small thing. For example, the last time we found out about Reverie, I was looking it up recently, but I took away the chapters, but the Reverie storyline was split up over the course of Wano. So I think in 1054 or something like that, we were dealing with Reverie, and back in the 900s, we were dealing with Reverie. So finally, we're just here, we're just concentrated, we're just getting all the answers. I know that in a SBS, Oda said that this is going to be a pretty big, thrilling arc before we go into the final Greatest War. And I'm actually just happy to see that, yeah, it's kind of living up to that. I'm very excited to see that we're finding out more about what happened with Sabo. I'm very excited that we didn't just cut away from it last week or in the previous chapter. It's a little bit unfortunate that this week there's going to be a break, but it's been pretty good for One Piece so far. I'm all in. Like, come on, you've been with One Piece for years at this point, right? What's waiting a few more weeks for Luffy and them? Like, finding out about the rest of the world is really, really interesting. Anyway, those are my general thoughts about Egghead. I'm very happy with what we're getting here. Going into this one, and when it comes to the conversation that's going on, we find out about the Holy Knights. And one of the big points that I've seen is people talking about, well, who are the Holy Knights? Why are we dealing with them? Are they going to be powerful characters? Is Shanks a Holy Knight? I think they're all really interesting questions. When it comes down to it, me personally, I feel like the Holy Knights, they're I feel like they're just here to be enemies for the Revolutionary Army because they need enemies. I feel like when you're going into the final war, like, it's not going to be a very fun war if you don't have good opponents, right? So that's why I think they're being brought in. And honestly, I feel like, we got a silhouette of like 9 of them or so. I feel like there might be more, there might be less. But when you see the guards in this chapter that Sabo's ultimately fighting, they look like knights. They're guarding a place where gods live, the Tenryubito. I feel like they're probably holy knights or God's knights, whatever they're called, probably foot soldiers. I think we're already seeing God's knights right here. When it comes to the God knights, I hope that if they're overpowered, I hope it's because of ancient technology and devil fruits, because I feel like that's stuff that the world government has on hand. I feel like that'd be reasonable. I'm just going through all the topics. I just remembered that I have the color page right behind me, and we were talking about this on a live stream recently, but I found the color page to be really interesting for 2 notes. One, sugar is there. I don't know why sugar is there and not pudding. That's just silly to me. Why put her there? I do wonder if that's because of popularity polls or something like that. But I think that was a bit of a misstep. I don't understand why she's there. Like, everyone else, I think makes sense. Asterisk. Asterisk. There's one person. But everyone else, I think, makes sense. Like, Perona being there, we already know she's a One Piece girl because I think she was in the novelization of the One Piece girl novel. But then, of course, there's the big one, that being Yamato. Me, personally, I feel like Oda does not really care about Yamato all that much. I think Yamato is a gag character. I think Oda probably agrees with that, given putting a Yamato in the color page. Personally, my opinion has been like Yamato is kind of too far gone. When Yamato tells Momonosuke that Yamato is Odin and therefore Momonosuke's father, that's when you know it's a gag. I mean, like, I feel like you have to compare and contrast with Kiku, because Okiku, you can see how Oda's treating it, the situation. When I'm looking at that color page, honestly, I think if Oda wants to put Yamato in there, that's completely fine. It's his manga. I know people are like sending death threats or like blah blah blah, whatever people on Twitter usually do. I know that there's that. I just think putting Okiku in there would have been. I think it would have been an interesting choice. I think take away pudding, and I think if you put Okiku in there, I think you would have changed the conversation slightly. Again, when you look at Okiku and you look at the way Yamato is treated, Okiku is treated much more sincerely. Yamato is treated like a joke or a gag, that being, Yamato's thing is being Odin, and how silly it is when you see how hard Yamato is going to go with it, that being Momonosuke's father, which is silly. Anyway, that's my opinion on the color page. I love it personally because I like seeing the stance that Oda ultimately took. He doesn't really care, and I don't really think Oda's going to apologize. Like, he just does whatever he wants. Again, I've told people this, but the only time I've seen Oda apologize seriously was when he was making fun, or didn't make fun. He made a joke about the one Japanese soldier that didn't know that war was over. Anyway, moving on. Going into Cobra. So Cobra, in this situation, we see him going to the Gorosei. It was really interesting to me because some people were just talking about, like, oh my god, Cobra wants to get killed here because he's asking questions that should not be asked. And I felt like, well, this guy is terminal. He was saying in the previous chapter that, hey, watch out for Vivi if anything happens to me. The guy knew what he was doing. I feel like he's thinking, yo, I'm going to die anyway. Might as well try and get some information out of them, see what happens. I wonder if he has like a Denden Mushi on him, like sending some kind of feed out, because that would be really cool. Overall, I think the way Oda set that up, it was pretty tense. It was cool. A good portion of it was pretty much Oda giving a recap to what happened in the war. So like that whole little bit at the beginning of that whole Cobra explains the founding of the world government. We kind of already knew that before, and like even the girls say point that out. And then we go into the new information, that being Lili actually left Alabasta. We find out the younger brother is the one that took over. We find out Lili never came back. But then we find out that there was a letter that was written by her, and we find out about the D. And I love the way that everything changes the moment that happens. Now, here is where like I'm seeing a lot of crazy stuff when it comes to the online reception. People started saying that Im is Lili. And my opinion on that is just like, personally, I don't want that to happen. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen because I think Oda's a little bit unpredictable. I don't really know what Oda wants to do. But I personally want to believe that the Nefertiti family, they're all nice people. Now, you know, if you bring up Don Quixote, the Don Quixote family, you're going to see the counterexample. Don Quixote do Flamingo is the counterexample. Although, the Don Quixote family seems to produce a lot of nice people. But if I was to say that the Nefertiti family must all be nice because Cobra and Vivi are nice, then like that just logically doesn't stand up, because like the Don Quixote family has one bad apple in it, Do Flamingo, or maybe more than one, but you know it has one bad apple in it. So wouldn't it be that strange to say that that Lili is the one bad apple? But personally, I hope that's not the case. I want her to be a good character. I think that would be really neat. In terms of what I'm thinking is going on, because people are like bringing in a whole lot of other information, like the people that Im had slashed up in terms of the pictures earlier, or like, well, years ago at this point. I think, and this is my idea, Im, I do believe that maybe they have the immortality surgery, maybe they're immortal. I believe that Im might be in love with Lili, or was in love with Lili. I think Lili died. I think it's a rejection plot line that we're going into. I think Vivi, the way Im was holding Vivi's photo, I think Vivi might look almost exactly like Lili, and I think that yeah, Im is probably really into Vivi right now, and I think that's how this whole thing is connected. Is that actually the case? No idea. I do think that is the situation that we're seeing here, though. So we'll have to see what goes on. Honestly, when Im comes out and sits on the throne, that's pretty much when you know Cobra ain't getting out of that alive. My questions now, though, are: Sabo saw someone sit on the throne. Sabo has a picture taken of him with Cobra. My question is, who took the picture? Because that's kind of a big thing. Is it Morgan's? Was Morgan's in there? Did he actually see the situation too? Is that what he ran away? Speaking of running away, Vivi, we also see her, and we had her telling Lucy he's not gonna be able to do anything to protect her, given how the last time went. He looked like he was hurt by her saying that, so I really appreciated that one. Speaking of that, going into what is honestly one of the most awesome sequences, that being Sai and Leo taking out the Celestial Dragon. You know, they said they were going to be involved in an incident. It's not all of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, but I love that those two were involved in it. I love the whole build-up to it. Well, I didn't like that Shirahoshi was being captured, but I like the whole build-up to it. I really hope that those kings realize that if all it takes is one stupid person deciding they want a collection of kings, and they're all screwed. But ultimately, it was good to see that her brothers were going for her, and it was good to see that Sai and Leo went and launched the attack, turned the guy into an accordion. I kind of wish we could have seen them fight Kuma at least a little bit, just to see where they stack up to the Pacifista. I think that's like a missed opportunity. And yeah, we know that pretty much if you're New World level, like Sai is, you could probably handle the prototypes that we saw inside Bolivia Archipelago, but it would have been good to see it instead of having it interrupted. I just want to see what the Straw Hat Grand Fleet is capable of, you know? I hope this spirals into like a bigger incident. Heck, if the Straw Hat Grand Fleet shows up at Head on the day that the big thing goes down, I'd be very happy. Speaking of fights, we see Morley and Karasu getting things. Karasu opens up a big question about what exactly is he? Is he a Logia with a fixation on crows, or is he a special paramecia? I think given that smoke is a Logia, and given that soot is a byproduct of fire and burning, I want to say that it's also a Logia, but you never really know what Oda's thinking about what makes a Logia a Logia. If it is a Logia, I really just hope that it's just Karasu's extreme mastery of the Devil Fruit that's causing it to turn into crows and all that kind of stuff. Regardless, it was a really cool power. Morley catching Kuma and also being able to land a blow on Green Bull was neat. Now, I don't recall if that was in the chapter and the one previous, but given that I'm talking about pretty much two chapters all at the same time, I think it'll be okay. Anyway, I was really happy to see what was going on with the Revolutionary Army, and I was happy to see that the Revolutionary Army was able to get Kuma and pull him out of there. There was one whole sequence that I kind of ignored in this video so far, and that being Sabo and Jewelry Bonnie. I think the things that stood out for me in that sequence, it was interesting how Jewelry Bonnie was pretty rational. Like, that seemed effective. That was a really competent character. I kind of started shipping him a little bit when Sabo is, picks her up and takes her into the roof and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really neat. But yeah, no. I really thought I was going to be hating the Bonnie angle here, but seeing her be so rational, I really got to appreciate that. Overall, a really fun chapter of One Piece. I'm excited to see what happens next. I kind of wonder if we're going to get more answers. Is Im going to tell us that they are Lily, or that they are involved with Lily, or they wanted to be involved with Lily? Yeah. Overall, One Piece, awesome. I told you what my bets are. I just hope to see this continue exploding. Now, because of the previous chapters, we already know what happens to some characters. Like when it comes to Sai and Leo, we know that Doflamingo, I can't pronounce his first name, but we know who it is. We know that the Celestial Dragon, who's a nice guy, was able to get them pardoned. We know that he was able to cover up, and they already knew that this attempted murder, it actually was, like, they know it was a farce. The girls say. We know that from the previous chapters, so they're going to be fine. Don't know if there's going to be retaliation later, but yeah, one of the cool things is that a lot of the situation now has already been told to us in the previous chapters. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.